something I think that is going to be vital to helping this country get back to a level of normalcy, to lower the temperature, and to find a path forward, is that we have to remember that we all have assholes. And just like assholes, what else do we all have? Opinions. We all have opinions, guys. We all have our own opinions. Now, that's fact. That's not narrative. Both of those statements are 100% undisputable, factual, right? We all have assholes. We all have opinions. We've heard that saying our entire lives. But what's crazy is just how relevant that saying, that expression could be in getting this country back to where it needs to be, getting this country above the noise, and to make sure that the narrative pushers, the fake outrage for profit whores, can no longer use one of their most effective weapons when it comes to keeping people in the narrative machine. And one of those methods, one of those weapons that's used quite effectively is the sum equals all technique, okay? The sum equals all technique goes something like this. If I can find a tweet or a clip or a quote, whatever the case may be, if I can find something where somebody on the other side made a statement, gave their opinion as to how they feel about a certain topic or whatever the case may be, when it comes to this country or an event that happened, I can then go out and say the left feels this way, the right feels this way, right? So again, it's the sum equals all technique, right? Which of course is just not based in reality, but it works so effectively in the narrative machine. I remember a few months back, I was watching Tucker Carlson, and it really hit me hard watching that particular segment. I don't remember the case that he was laying out, but it was something along the lines of, let me show you, how the left thinks or feels about something, or, I'm trying to prove this point that this is what the left is like. This is what they believe in. This is what they feel. And he was showing tweets. And like one of the tweets was from like some professor of a college or something, no celebrity or, point is no known person. This wasn't a politician. This wasn't anybody that had any relevance whatsoever. But because obviously this person was a Democrat on the left, maybe they were a progressive, whatever the case may be, and they had sent this tweet, and this tweet obviously lined up with what Tucker Carlson wanted to be able to say the left feels and how the left views things. He was showing this tweet as almost this proof that this is what the people on the left think. So what I want you to do after you've watched my monologue is I want you to go forward under the impression that every Democrat in this country has this opinion. This is the left's feeling. This is the left's opinion as to how they view this particular topic or event or whatever the case may be. So your homework assignment is to, over the next week, whatever, it probably only take you a couple days. But as you're on Twitter, as you're watching, whatever content, your YouTube, your news, whatever the case may be, start looking for this. I'm not saying that there's nobody out there who's not already well aware of this. There's plenty. But I do believe, guys, that there has to be a huge amount of people that maybe don't realize what they are doing when they are watching these particular, narrative pushers and coming away with that, oh my goodness, I just learned that, again, Democrats feel this way about something, or Republicans and conservatives view, something a certain way because the person I just listened to showed me a tweet, showed me 5 tweets, showed me 3 video clips in which somebody who was a Republican said this, or stated that their opinion was this. So now I'm going to walk away from that going, I understand how Republicans view a certain topic or whatever the case may be. What had me thinking about this is a lot of the narrative that you're seeing, a lot of the tweets that you might be seeing out there from the right when it comes to this whole Capitol building raid, siege, whatever word you prefer to use, is we're hearing a lot of, well, look, they want us to, strongly condemn it and agree with them that the way some media outlets are covering it and insurrection and all this kind of stuff, they want us to be as outraged as they are as to what happened with the fact that our Capitol building, for the first time since 1814, got raided, because we have to understand that the Democrats, right, didn't condemn the Antifa BLM riots that we saw happen throughout the summer or whatever the case may be. I saw one where it was like, well, they want us to condemn what happened on Wednesday, but where were they in condemning the riots and the protests, the BLM Antifa riots and all that kind of stuff throughout the summer that took 30 lives or whatever the case may be. And I know where that comes from, and I know how they end up, using that as a effective tool to, again, keep people in the narrative machine, but also make sure that they don't have to, again, share any of the outrage or whatever the case may be and attempt to minimize it, or because, again, we're in a political climate where now it's just about winning, and it's a desire to want to never give the other side a victory. So we understand where we're at, and it's not surprising that, a lot of the narrative pushers on the right aren't just able to come out and simply say it was wrong. It was our Capitol building being overtaken. People died. A police officer died. So it's almost like the more the news gets worse about what happened that day and the consequences of, Trump supporters' actions, the more they're going to try to start utilizing whatever tools and ammo they have. And absolutely, the sum equals all technique is one of them. Because the whole thing about Democrats, where were Democrats in condemning the Antifa and BLM protest, right? In, not necessarily the protest, but any of those times where, a building got vandalized or burnt down or violence was committed against people. You know what I mean? Where were they in condemning that? And where was the outrage when that was happening? Well, that's the thing, guys. How do they back that up? Do they back that up because they know that every single Democrat in this country, right, 100% completely supported the rioting and the vandalizing and the burning of buildings and the violence against people during any of those protests? No. They do that because they can say, look at this tweet. Look at this clip. You know what I mean? Let's roll the Chris Cuomo clip, or let's show this tweet, or, let's show where a certain congressman or senator or whatever the case may be on the left said this and did not come out and fully condemn it. They tried to justify it or minimize it, right? But that's the thing. The sum does not equal all. But for them, it's a great technique for them to utilize. But we have to understand how dangerous that is, guys. I hope everybody can agree how dangerous that is and how ridiculous that is. And no offense, that if we are allowing it to take place, how stupid that makes us. Anybody who, if I told you that there are 1 million people, right? I put 1 million people in a room, and then you have this person who reads all 1 million opinions that these people gave on a particular topic or subject or whatever the case may be, right? Okay, so now I've read all of these opinions from every single one of those people. But if you know that I have an agenda If you know that I have this bias, right? And I am trying to feed a narrative, right? That I have been feeding people for a long time. And I'm looking for what fits into that narrative. I want to find what fits into that narrative. If I select the 5 answers that those people gave, right, to that question, and then I go out there and I say, here's what they feel. That's exactly what we're doing. Whether you want to accept this or not, that's exactly what is happening. You got to understand that, if it makes you stupid, because when you look at it the way I just laid it out, you would say to yourself, anybody who knew that a million people got asked a question, and then this guy came out who had read all the answers, but because he has an agenda, he only shows us 3 or 4 tweets, and they just conveniently fit into the narrative and the message that he's trying to deliver. All of us would say, that's ridiculous. And if I were to believe that what he's telling us is accurate, that because he's shown us these 3 tweets and he's coming with an agenda, that I can now, leave, go forward after watching his monologue or watching his thing on YouTube or whatever, I now can go forward having a full understanding as to how those million people feel about a certain topic. Bro, it's ridiculous, guys. I'm an independent, definitely lean more Democrat. And I will say, and I've already made a video about Antifa and stuff like that, but let me just say very clearly, I absolutely can't stand Antifa. I condemn Antifa. I condemn any, violence or vandalism and destruction of property and all that kind of stuff. I just saw a video today where Antifa pepper sprays and attacks Trump supporters at some event. And it disgusts me. It angers me the same way it angered me watching the events of Wednesday. Antifa is a hot mess. They are most of them are just anarchists and are just punks, and it's just a whole unorganized mess. And it should absolutely be condemned. It should absolutely be considered something that we in this country need to make sure that we do get behind condemning, and that we make our voices known, either side, that no group that, supports or is pro violence against, people, destruction of property, things like that is supported or is, okay in this country. But the thing is, that is my opinion. And if you ask me, you would have known that. That's the other thing, guys, that we have to remember. A lot of these people in the media, and remember, when I say media, and we all need to start doing this, I'm not talking just about cable news network. If you have a fucking million subscribers, if you have videos that are getting viewed by 700,000 people, you're the media. You are literally in people's, the same way that somebody on their television screen is giving their opinion to them and pushing narratives on them, you are as well. But that's for another video. The point being is, guys, I'm not going to be able to say that I can understand how the other side, right, feels about something, because I tune into what I know is a biased, outlet, right? Media program, whatever the case be. So I know that it's biased. I know that this person, right, literally, can't stand the other side, makes videos with titles saying that the other side's evil. And then but I'm going to go watch them. And because they say to me, I want you guys to understand how the left thinks, and I want you to understand how the left feels, right? Now, I hate them. I'm against them, right? And I've been pushing this division narrative on you for years and years and years. But here, you can trust me that if I show you a couple tweets, I have just let you know how every Democrat in this country views something or how they feel. It's ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. I do fear that, unfortunately, some people maybe are just way too, bought in, way too, too far gone, so to say, too far under the ether, that even if they saw a video like this and then they literally saw tons of examples of it happening over the next week or two, I don't know if it's going to change anything. But, at this point, guys, I think we're at a point where obviously, anything that helps get people above the noise, anything that helps people understand what the narrative machine is, how it works, why they do it, that it's all for profit, it's all for their votes or whatever the case may be. Hey, if we can get one person out of the noise, it's a victory, I guess, So if you're in the narrative machine, you know that you're hardcore, just, you watch your videos, you got your guys on YouTube or that you follow on Twitter, and you're just like always like, yeah. Just look for it. Just look for it. If your opinion of the other side, right? If you have a very strong opinion of the people on the other side, so to say, right? I want you to start looking for this. And I want you to start asking yourself, what opinion do I have of the other side, of the people on the other side, right? If you find yourself going to give an answer, you're in the noise. You're in the noise. Because again, if your answer is not, well, I can't tell you how every single person on the right feels about a certain topic, but, hey, yeah, sure, I can show you some tweets or some video clips or whatever of, how some of them feel, and I disagree with it. Right? That's fine. Hey, okay. But the bottom line, guys, getting above the noise is all about understanding and accepting certain facts. And this one is one of those facts that everybody has to understand and accept. We all have opinions and we all have assholes.